Now, on September 3rd, 2024, we launched Immortalis. And on that day, I said that we're launching a network state, a digital nation. And I said the land-based Immortalis is a goal that's 10 years out. Remember that? 10 years. 10 years. So I want to give you an update today about land itself, and on that 10-year plan. So where do we stand with a land-based Immortalis after just 8 months? Well, I can tell you this, we are far, far ahead of schedule. From the highest levers of government in a European nation, we are now close to receiving a detailed report on the land that they would make available to us, along with a signed memorandum of understanding between their country and Immortalis. This location is currently the front runner of a land-based Immortalis. Before I say more, remember that Immortalis is going to do amazing things like cure the disease, the age-related diseases such as Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, heart disease, and yes, aging itself. So it doesn't matter where we live in the world. I know in some of my daily primes, comments have been like, well, wow, I would rather it be in America. Of course that would be most practical for most of us. But even if it's in Europe, we don't have to move there. We don't have to leave America, but to still reap the benefits that this is going to bring us. If you cure cancer, you cure cancer. It doesn't matter where you live in the world, right? And being in America, we're going to be, among the leaders to get that cure to cancer. So keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to tell you why this European location is so exciting. There, we actually have a shot, a real shot at getting true autonomy. Now, this may be the only place in the world where this is possible at this point in time. And as you notice, I have not yet mentioned the name of the country for strategic reasons. But this could be a place on earth that we actually do govern by the prime law. There's nowhere else on earth that I have found where this is a real possibility. So this is a hidden gem that we've uncovered. And you'll learn more about this as we move along. But we're very close to something major happening here in Europe, here in this location I'm referring to. Now in America, we would strive for lower FDA regulations, lower taxation, and of course more freedom means more cures to age-related diseases in general, and a better shot at curing aging. So that freedom city in America where we lower regulations and taxation would have a great effect on moving us forward to curing these age-related diseases. But in this unique situation in Europe that you'll learn more about, as I said, as we move along, we might be able to move beyond more freedom into pure freedom. And moving into pure freedom, something just magical happens that we've never seen, we've never experienced on our planet. Namely, I'm talking about the sea of you happening on Earth. Things will move at such speeds that we can't even imagine currently in our anti-civilization. So the exponential progress when governed by and only by 111 words. Where is that? 111 words. will be... Oh, okay. I thought you put that over for me to hold up there, Wallace. There we go. Yeah, I thought that looked a little long over there. 111 words. 111 words. What that will unleash, well, you've only seen that possibility in my trilogy, Super Puzzle. Needless to say, aging would be cured quickly in that environment, governed by the prime law. Now, turning our eyes back to America, first, I'll mention that last month I talked to you about a meeting we were going to have. Actually, Cody was going to be there in person for a meeting with a friend of mine who reaches high into the Trump inner circle. He had the meeting and it went very, very well. She gave us valuable suggestions to hone and perfect our package for President Trump. So we've integrated her suggestions, and we will be meeting with her again in a few days. And after that, after she feels the impact that this would have, she'll bring this into the upper inner circles of Donald Trump, and then after that, they will bring that into the Oval Office. So now, back to the subject today of land. Land in America. So here's something very interesting. Hold on a second, I just got a message I need to take a quick look at here. Okay, we're good. All right. I found this on doing some research on AI. I'm just going to read it to you. The proposal to sell federal lands in Nevada was part of a broader budget reconciliation package introduced by House Republicans known as President Donald Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. This package included provisions for the sale of approximately 460,000 acres of public land across Nevada and Utah with the intent of generating revenue and addressing housing shortages in rapidly growing areas. However, the land sale provisions faced significant bipartisan opposition. Critics argued that the sales could prioritize corporate interests over environmental protection and public access. In response to the outcry, a last-minute effort led by Republican Congressman Ryan Zink successfully removed the controversial land sale language from the final bill. The revised bill, sans the land sale provisions, narrowly passed the House. So we're talking about the big, beautiful bill here. We're talking about land that the Trump administration, that President Trump really wants to sell to the private sector. Well, let's think about that for a minute. That land, that federal land, is the closest, the most desirable land for President Trump to release to the private sector. That land near Las Vegas and throughout Nevada and Utah. I mean, it was literally in the big, beautiful bill, and it was removed the last minute. But that's how much Trump, and he expressed this during his campaign, wants to release federal land to the private sector. Now, I'm going to ask you, who would be better suited for a major piece of that land than Immortalis? Now, let's think about that. What do we have to offer? We offer a biomedical freedom zone that will cure Alzheimer's, dementia, cancer, heart disease, eventually aging. Now imagine the public support, and therefore imagine the bipartisan support, as neither side can afford losing the senior voting base. Now, throughout the baby boomers, the senior class, we're a huge voting base that split quite evenly currently between Republicans and Democrats. Now, the senior voting base is going to be completely behind Immortalis. And not only that, but the seniors have children and grandchildren who do not want to see their parents or grandparents suffer with age-related diseases. So we're going to get public support for Immortalis. And as I've mentioned to you in my past writings, once you have the people support, the government is forced to go along when you understand how to play the game. So we're going to focus on unlocking a large parcel of that land that the Trump administration is wanting, almost begging to give away or to sell to the private sector. Our odds for land in America just rose dramatically. Now, Argentina. So I'm fascinated about our possibilities. My good friend, Jose Cordero, is arranging for me to meet with President Milei in August at an event in Buenos Aires. Oh, by the way, speaking of Jose Cordero, I've urged you, and I continue to urge you, to order his book, The Death of Death. And the reason why I like that book so much is our job, Immortalis, all of us, our job is to provide the conditions from which the scientists and the biomedical companies can advance rapidly, can work their genius. The geniuses of society, I call them in my writings. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even that advanced in the whole biomedical world. But Jose Cordero fills that missing puzzle piece. You'll see when you read that book, you'll understand where science stands right now and how it will flourish in Immortalis. And I say that, and I'm sure Cody and Wallace will agree with me, that's why my friendship all of our friendships, has grown so strong, so quickly with Jose, because he realizes what we bring him, and we realize what he brings us. Again, the beautiful ecosystem of humanity at work. Now, back to Milei. I understand Milei's heart and soul. I really do. And I predict that Milei will fall in love with the Prime Law. Now, he would want, his heart and soul would want Immortalis to have autonomy, to be governed by the Prime Law. The Prime Law is bringing reality to what his hero economist, Murray Rothbard, theorized 50 years ago. So he will be with us, but he's up against a typical Keynesian government, and his party is in the minority. He's overwhelmed by the Keynesian government surrounding him. He's outnumbered by the opposition party. So hopefully things will move more into his favor in the midterms in October, but still they don't have the opportunity to, they don't have enough seats and enough available open seats to gain the majority. That's not going to happen. But he can demonstrate the support of more of the members of their Congress, which would be very good for his presentation, his what's the word, like his following, the belief in President Milei. But what we have to do in Argentina is we must initially approach Argentina similar to our approach in America. And that's lowering regulations, lowering taxation. For more freedom, therefore, more results and cures to age-related diseases. But there in Argentina, we have a very powerful, charismatic ally in the libertarian president. he could become the missing piece in the super puzzle to eventually getting us a pure prime law zone. See, we would have a path toward an autonomous zone with that charismatic, powerful figure as our closest ally in Argentina. So as far as land goes in Argentina, I'm looking at that now, but I'll have more direction after our meeting in August. So I'm very excited by all three locations. We have the extreme with this European nation with the possibility of a prime law governed, chartered city. And then we have the other end of the spectrum is the lowering of FDA regulations and taxation in America with a freedom city. Then we have Argentina somewhere in between with sort of more of a traditional approach of lowering regulations and taxations of a special economic zone, but with our hidden ace up our sleeve with a charismatic, powerful president who believes in the prime law, working his magic. So as I said, I'm very excited about all three, and I'm going to wrap up the land portion of this by saying that we are years and years ahead of schedule. So I wanted to lay that on you today. A land-based Immortalis is no longer just a vision 10 years out. It's a potential reality within the next few months, within a year. So that's very exciting news I wanted to spread to you today. And I'm going to leave you with this. Today I wanted to make it short and sweet because of the impact of what this means to our movement. I just want to tell you that I've unfolded in my life a new dimension of something I deeply look forward to. And that's my monthly Immortalis All Citizens meetings with you. I really look forward to that. I enjoy meeting with all of you once a month to talk about our progress. And there's honestly too much progress to properly pass on to you. There's too many moving parts, too many things that have to happen before I can say anything about them. But that's partly why I also have that daily prime in the community for you to stay in touch with what's happening on a more day-to-day basis. But the big progress this past month, I consider it the biggest month we've had yet, are these amazing breakthroughs we're having on land opening up to us. That's the hardest thing in the world for any libertarian, like freedom-like special economic zone. I know the other people in the space now, and they struggle with this. They, even with money, they still struggle with this, and they don't get what they want, or they can't unlock what they need. And quite honestly, we're the leaders now in that space. So congratulations to all of us for this. Oh, and because of our success here with the land, I'm about to launch my next big project of reaching out to the CEOs of all the reputable biomedical companies in America. I think this will be huge. I will invite them to sign a letter of intent, and I do believe I'm going to get a large percentage of them doing that the way we're shaping and forming this outreach. I'm going to fill you in next month with what's happening there, and we should have some results by next month, which will be very exciting. I'm talking about, very reputable, big biomedical companies. So let's see if I covered everything here. Yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you're doing. I see your videos, Larry and Aaron, and you're doing a great job there, just spreading the word. You're having more of an effect than you may realize out there because people see that, and it stays with them. Maybe a little bit, I don't know why I'm thinking of this right now, but back back with the Jesus ministry, and when he was traveling the land, and he was saying, the biggest effect I'm leaving is a residual. And that's what I see you're doing. You're leaving residuals out there that when things begin happening, it's in their mind, it's in their heart, and it will come out when they see something in the future happening in what you are pushing your knowledge out there to the world. And I appreciate that. Anyone that we're running into a lot of expenses, so any donations you make help offset the growing expenses. That's to the Immortalis Freedom Foundation. We greatly appreciate that. It's greatly needed. And yeah, we're growing. We're spending more money. I'm bringing on more people. And I'm toning down my publishing business, so that's greatly appreciated. Anything you feel comfortable with donating to Immortalis Freedom Foundation is so much appreciated. All right, and you will always know that you have helped change the world, because that's what we're doing. We are changing the world. Wallace, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you. And thanks, everyone. I really enjoyed talking to you today. Big movements going on with the land, and great seeing all your faces.